What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So today we're going to do a reaction video. It's Chuck Schumer, the minority leader of the Senate. So he responded to Mitch McConnell. Now, I did do a video on Mitch McConnell. I'll post a link up here so you guys can check it out. And this is about the skinny bill, or this emaciated bill that Chuck Schumer would call it. So we're going to take a look at what he said. I'm going to try not to jump in too much, but I might jump in from time to time, and then at the end, then I'll let you know my overall opinion about what he said and then what will happen next. So that's what we're going to talk about. But first off, if you guys can hit the like button, I really appreciate it. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. We do daily videos and live streams on the weekends. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Unanimous consent, the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Now, Madam President, in the 3 weeks since the Senate last met, America eclipsed 6 million confirmed cases of COVID-19. Nearly 190,000 Americans have died, and those totals climb by tragic amounts each day. Too many businesses remain closed. Schools begin the year under a dark cloud of uncertainty, and our economy faces the greatest crisis since the Great Depression. The United States is 11.5 million jobs short, 11.5 million of where we were at the start of February, and the number of jobs that have been permanently lost is rising at an alarming rate. All of this reflects a tragic reality. President Trump has led the worst response to COVID-19 of any nation on earth. It is what it is. The economic pain of the pandemic was mitigated by our action in March, when Democrats insisted on a robust stimulus bill that became the CARES Act. One of our policies included in that bill, enhanced unemployment benefits, has kept nearly 12 million Americans from poverty. Those benefits have now mostly expired, and the stimulus provided by the CARES Act has been exhausted. The pandemic and economic hardship for millions of American workers and families, however, is ongoing and painful. Speaker Pelosi and I have been trying to negotiate with the White House on another round of relief. It's been arduous. Democrats offered to meet our Republican colleagues in the middle, but the White House has refused to make any significant compromise.
Now, this is one issue that I have, and you guys know what it is already. The negotiating with the White House. You should be negotiating with Mitch McConnell and the president only. And I do not understand why Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi are allowing these surrogates to be there. Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows. Why are you negotiating with those people when you should be negotiating with the other legislator, so Mitch McConnell, and then the president, the person who's going to sign off on it in the end? Those are the people you should be talking to. I do not understand this. It's one of those deals where you're not happy with the results, but you're not talking to the right people. Like you've been in situations like that before, where you're trying to get something, but you're not talking to the right people. You're like, okay, who's the manager? Well, who's your manager? You know, you're trying to get to the right person so you can get something done. But Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they don't look like they want to talk to the right people. They want to talk to these surrogates. So I really, really don't like that.
Here in the Senate, the Republican majority leader has kept the Senate on pause while the nation suffered. When they tried to draft a relief package in July, Senate Republicans flailed for 2 weeks before announcing a series of separate, incoherent proposals that lacked the support of, surprise, Senate Republicans. It was so unpopular within the Republican conference, Leader McConnell never even brought it up for a vote.
Yeah, now that's important to note, right? So you had the HEALS Act. They brought that HEALS Act up July 27th. And guess what? He never brought that to the floor. Mitch McConnell could have brought that to the floor for a vote. He never did because he didn't have the support amongst the Republicans, which is crazy, right? You create a bill and it's a Republican created bill, but then you don't have enough support to pass it. So that's pretty crazy in itself. So that's why they're going to this more targeted skinny bill.
Now, after more than 4 months of long inaction, after sitting on the sidelines while we tried to negotiate with the recalcitrant White House, Senate Republicans are finally realizing the damage their pause the McConnell pause has done to the American economy and our nation's health. As they scramble to make up for this historic mistake, Senate Republicans appear dead set on another bill, which doesn't come close to addressing the problems in our country. Republicans are going to cut their original inadequate $1 trillion skinny bill in half, maybe more, and put it up for a vote this week. Of course, it had no input, zero input from Democrats, completely partisan, in a chamber where you need bipartisanship to get anything done. Republicans call this a skinny or targeted proposal, but it would be more appropriate to call it emaciated.
What is he looking up at? I don't know what he's looking up at. It's kind of weird, but he looked up twice.
Shockingly, as the pain from this pandemic gets bigger and bigger, Republicans think smaller and smaller. They're moving backwards. Their proposal is completely inadequate and by every measure fails to meet the needs of the American people. With no money for rental assistance, nutrition assistance, the census, safe elections, and so many other things. The bill, amazingly, will do almost nothing to help state and local governments that have already been forced to cut 1 million jobs since the pandemic began. This bill actually goes backwards from the last Republican proposal. It does not even allow states to use existing relief funds to cover lost revenues. Even worse, this latest and sorriest Republican proposal is laden with poison pills that our colleagues know Democrats would never support. The bill doesn't provide enough funding to help our schools reopen safely, not close to what school superintendents say they need, but it includes funding for a partisan school choice program long pushed by hard-right conservatives and Secretary DeVos. It provides immunity to corporations who put their workers in harm's way, which sadly seems to be the only thing that Republicans can consistently agree on. It even includes a provision that could fast-track coal mining operations, because God forbid our Republican friends miss an opportunity to reward corporate polluters in their coronavirus relief bill. The Republicans call their bill targeted. Maybe they mean it's targeted to corporate donors. The presence of these poison pills should remove every shred of doubt that the true intent of this bill is anything but political. If Leader McConnell and the Republican majority were trying to achieve a result, they wouldn't draft such a lame, partisan bill loaded with poison pills and rush it to the floor. Can we have order, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Leader. By the way, be careful not to impugn the motives of another. You suggested the corporate donors, so that's just I was checking on how to warn, just to issue that warning.
The truth is,
it's getting crazy.
If you wanted to draft a bill that was certain to fail, this is it. This is one of the most cynical moves I have ever seen. We all know what's going on here. Leader McConnell had to create the most paltry, partisan, cynical bill because he has 20 members of his caucus who don't want to support anything. By his own admissions, they want $0. So Leader McConnell keeps whittling down the Republican proposal until he can find something, anything, that he can claim his party supports. He had to throw in the right wing's favorite goodies to sweeten the pot, to even approach the number of votes in his caucus to make it look like a Republican bill that had broad support. Leader McConnell knows this bill won't pass. He knows that most of his members don't want it to pass. And amazingly, he seems happy with that situation. This is one of the most cynical moves I have ever seen in the middle of a pandemic, when Americans are crying out for relief. The political exercise on the Republican side bears no relationship to the needs in our country. It has nothing to do with our states, our workers, our families, opening up schools safely, or what healthcare workers really need. It has everything to do with finding the bare minimum that Senate Republicans can support. Facing the greatest economic crisis in 75 years and the greatest health crisis in a century, Leader McConnell isn't searching for bipartisan progress. He is looking for political cover. As we begin the final work period before the November elections, Democrats will keep pushing for a bipartisan, bicameral agreement that actually meets the urgent needs of the American people. For the good of the country, I hope, I pray, my Republican colleagues will join us in that effort. On another matter.
All right, so we're going to stop there. The other matter, he's talking about the Postal Service, but I want to focus on the stimulus package and this skinny bill, this targeted bill. So, you know, when it comes down to it, we're going to have to see what happens in the Senate. This is going to be pretty interesting because does Mitch McConnell really have the support? Because if you did have 15 to 20 Republicans in the Senate that didn't want a stimulus package at all, are they willing to go with this stimulus package if it's $500 billion? And so Chuck Schumer is trying to say, well, they're just loading it full of pork that these senators would like, so they'll go ahead and go for it. So we'll have to see if they have the numbers that they need to approve this. And what they need is 51 votes. So they need a majority. Now, to make it filibuster proof, they need 60, but they're not going to get 60 votes if the Democrats don't come with them. There are only 53 senators, Republican senators, and so they're not going to have that number. So it could be a situation where it could be stalled. They can open up a debate, they could filibuster it and not do anything with this bill, just keep pushing it down the road. I don't think Democrats will play that card because it's kind of it's really risky in a situation like this where people they need money. Now, I know there are no stimulus checks in this bill, but there's funding for other things like the PPP and things like that, and schools and all that. So it just doesn't look good, especially this close to an election. So I don't think we'll see a filibuster. We'll probably see them go ahead and bring this to the floor, which Mitch McConnell already said. They'll vote on it, and then it will go to the House, and then we'll have to see where it goes from there. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Chuck Schumer was pretty upset. You saw the little, reprimand on the Senate floor and all that good stuff. But when it comes, and that's as exciting as it gets on the Senate floor. Trust me, I watch a lot of these videos, and so that's probably the most exciting you'll see. That and John McCain when he did the half thumb down. That's the drama that you'll get in the Senate. But anyway, just want to know what you guys think about this. I wanted to show you guys a video. Also, I do have a question for you. Let me pull that question up. This is the same question as I asked before. So should the Senate pass this bill as is? So comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about that. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.